The Lost Season. Part 1. The Stream That Watches Back. I used to think horror was confined to the screen. Flickering pixels, dramatic music cues, actors pretending to run from things that couldn't possibly exist. I was wrong. I've learned that the most dangerous horror isn't what we see. It's what watches us while we watch it. It started with a show I couldn't remember starting. I was home, late, half drunk and scrolling through Netflix like everyone else does when they're not quite ready to sleep but too exhausted to keep thinking. My recommended for you row was the usual soup of crime documentaries and supernatural fluff, but one thumbnail caught my eye. It didn't have a title, just a still image. A man in a suit, back turned, standing in front of a static-filled television. The runtime said 46 minutes. The description was blank. I should have backed out. Instead, I clicked. The screen went black for a few seconds. I expected the red Netflix logo, the iconic Beatum. Instead, I heard breathing. Slow. Wet. In my headphones, it sounded like something was sitting right behind me. Then the episode started. It was filmed like a docuseries. A narrator with a soft, neutral voice began speaking about a lost season of a show that never aired. A season that had supposedly been streamed once, accidentally, for less than 20 minutes before disappearing from the platform entirely. No one remembered requesting it. No one claimed to have produced it. But it showed up. And people watched. Then they vanished. One by one. The visuals were grainy. Footage of suburban homes. Still frames of empty living rooms. All eerily silent. The narrator said the original show was called Open Window, a short-lived horror anthology that had aired in the early 2000s. Except it hadn't. I looked it up. No listings, no IMDb page, no trace. The narrator said the Lost Season, Season 4, never had a script. It only mimicked what the viewer feared most. Each episode adapted itself to its watcher. That's when I paused. Because my reflection in the screen wasn't paused with me. It was still moving. Still breathing. I yanked my headphones off. Closed the app. The screen froze. The reflection didn't. Behind me, something shifted. A faint movement. I turned. Nothing. Just my apartment. The kitchen light flickering like always. But when I looked back at the TV, it was no longer showing the pause frame. It was showing me. Not a reflection. A live feed. I was sitting on the couch. Watching myself sit on the couch. I unplugged the TV. Left the apartment. Drove for hours. No destination, just asphalt and the need to be away. But when I checked my phone, there was a push notification. Continue watching The Lost Season. No app name. Just black text on a scarlet background. I hadn't installed anything new. I deleted Netflix. Didn't matter. The show was still there. Back home, my laptop had a file on the desktop, open_window.mp4. I never downloaded it. I opened it, against every instinct screaming at me not to. This time, the footage was different. It was my hallway. Recorded from the ceiling corner, like a security cam. My hallway at that moment. Nothing moved, but the lights flickered. Then the footage zoomed into my apartment door. The number peeled away. 4B turned to 4:6. Bible verse? Or something else? I looked it up. Revelation 4 verse 6. Before the throne there was a sea of glass, like unto crystal, and in the midst of the throne, and round about the throne, were 4 beasts full of eyes before and behind. That night I didn't sleep. Every time I blinked, I saw the episode progress bar. It hovered in the dark like an afterimage burned into my retinas. At 3:14 a.m., the lights died. The TV turned on by itself. A new episode started. This one had a title. Do not pause. I don't remember hitting play. I don't remember watching. I only remember the scream. It started as a static hum, turned into laughter, then morphed into my own voice, looped, distorted, pleading. The figure from the thumbnail stood on screen, back still turned. But now he was in my apartment, standing in front of the real TV. I couldn't see his face, only his silhouette. The air behind him shimmered like melted glass. He lifted one hand, pointed at me. Then everything went dark. I woke up outside, barefoot, freezing, on the roof of my building, a single sticky note on my chest. Episode 3 will watch you at 2:16. I tried getting rid of the electronics, smashed the TV, tossed the laptop, but the screens kept finding me. A microwave reflection, the glow of someone else's phone on the bus, bathroom tiles showing faces that weren't mine. There's something about Netflix no one tells you. They don't own everything they stream. Some things get in. They worm through the cracks. Come as thumbnails you don't recognize. Episodes you don't remember starting. Stories that aren't written until you watch them. I haven't slept in 3 days. I'm not sure I'm awake now. But the next episode is queued up. And the notification just came through again. Continue watching The Lost Season, Episode 3, Buffering. It's already 2:15. Part 2, Buffering. The clock turned 2:16 a.m. and the screen blinked on by itself. I'd smashed the television 2 nights ago. The screen had shattered, shards scattered across the floor like ice from some dead sea. But now, there it was again, intact, humming low, and displaying that damn Netflix loading screen. Red N. Black background. Then, buffering. No percentage. No spinning wheel. Just a slow pulsing of the word, like it was breathing. I tried to move. Couldn't. I don't mean that metaphorically. I couldn't. My arms felt nailed to the couch. My jaw locked. My spine ached from the pressure of sitting too long, but I hadn't been there a minute ago. Had I? The screen flashed. Not an image. A reflection. Mine. Except not. This version of me blinked slower. Its mouth hung slightly open. The eyes looked back at me, not like a mirror, not mimicking, but watching. Behind it stood the man in the suit again. Closer. Always closer. I whispered. Stop it! The screen pulsed red. A caption appeared. Play or pause button paused. Viewer spoke. Then the lights went out. When they came back on, the apartment was different. Not wrong. Not haunted. Just off. Like someone had recreated my space from memory, but got the details slightly wrong. My books were in the wrong order. A crack in the window I'd never seen before. a smell like rotting plastic, and the screen was no longer showing a reflection. It was showing footage, grainy, black and white. It was my living room from above, camera angle like an old security feed, and it was live. I stood up. It stood up. A second behind me. Delayed. And when I turned my head, it kept staring forward. When I took a step forward, it took a step closer to the screen. Now I wasn't watching a show. It was watching me. I unplugged everything. Modem. Router. TV. Breaker switch. Didn't matter. When I stepped outside, the apartment complex was gone. Just rows and rows of empty studio sets. Flat wooden walls held up with scaffolding. Cables trailing like veins. Microphones dangling from the sky. And in every direction, glowing red screens suspended in the dark. All of them buffering. All of them showing me. I ran. Had to. Somewhere out there, I figured, was the edge. The part where the stage ended. Where the script gave out. But the sets kept going. Replicas of my apartment. Dozens. Hundreds. Each one slightly different. In one, there were photographs of people I didn't recognize, smiling families frozen mid-laughter. In another, a crib sat in the bedroom, empty but rocking. In another, the walls were covered in handprints made of static. In each of them, a screen. In each of them, buffering. In the far distance, I heard it. That sound again. Low. Mechanical. Like a VHS tape chewing itself inside a rusted player. And then the voice. Not from speakers. From the sky. Episode 3 complete. Viewer unstable. Initiate Episode 4. Episode 4 skip intro. I screamed. The air rippled. And the lights blinked like thunderclaps. And suddenly I was back. In my real apartment. Or what passed for it. Back on the couch. The remote in my hand. Except my hand wasn't holding a remote anymore. It was holding a camera. Pointed at my own face. Recording. Streaming. The phone buzzed. No caller ID. I answered. No words. Just breathing. Then, how do you rate this episode? My voice answered without me meaning to. 5 stars. I haven't blinked since. If I do, the screen changes again. It waits for moments of weakness. Of silence. It doesn't play episodes anymore. It unfolds them, page by page, out of my memories. The next episode is titled Skip Intro. I don't know what that means yet. But something tells me it's about the beginning. Mine. Yours. The show's. Something I wasn't supposed to watch. I checked the mirror earlier. There was a sticker on my forehead. It read, property of NFX_L0ST_SCN_417. Script locked. Viewer absorbed. I think I'm the season now. And someone's watching me. Part 3 skip intro. There was a time before this started. I know there was. I used to have a job. A life. A name. But now, there's only buffering and playback. Glitches in the air. Audio bleed from somewhere behind the ceiling. Like my apartment is just a soundstage pretending to be real. And always the screen. waiting for me to continue watching. After the last episode, something changed. The notification didn't show up on my phone this time. It arrived in my mind, like a line of thought that wasn't mine. Now playing, episode 4, skip intro. Then I heard music. Not from the TV. From everywhere. A tinny, looping jingle. The kind you only hear in the background of a kid's show, or a public domain instructional video. Off-key. Too slow. Underneath it, a whisper. A voice I almost recognized. Don't skip. Don't you want to know where it started? The screen flickered. Static. Footage emerged, grainy, oversaturated, like early 2000s camcorder tape. The date in the corner read April 17th, 03. It was a child's bedroom. Bright walls. Plush toys. Cartoon posters. The camera shook a little as it adjusted. And in the reflection of the window, me? Not adult me. Kid me. 8 years old. Pale. Smiling at nothing. And behind me, the man in the suit. Same silhouette. Same face turned away. But this time he turned. Just for a second. And in that second, my TV cracked. I don't remember this moment. But the episode remembered for me. The voiceover started again. Neutral. Calm. The same narrator from the first episode. Viewer origin detected. Cross-reference. Program seed 417_child beta. This user was one of the first. I screamed. Not out of fear, but because I understood it now. The show had always been with me. Watching. Waiting. Growing. I didn't find the lost season by accident. It was assigned to me. Fed to me, one frame at a time, over my entire life. Subliminally seeded through background noise, TV static, school announcements, flickering ads. Every buffering pause, not a delay, a download. When the next scene loaded, it was the interior of a hospital room. Camera angle fixed in the corner. A child asleep in bed. Monitors beeping softly. My name, my real one, typed on the chart at the foot of the bed. And on the monitor, a Netflix interface. Streaming an episode titled Pilot. The nurse walked in. She wore the mask. The one from the thumbnail. Long face. Flat black eyes. Lips sewn shut with red wire. She approached the screen. And whispered, "Time to wake up, Eli." I blacked out. When I woke up, my fridge was open. Inside, rows of VHS tapes. Each one labeled with a date from my life. First lie. First fear. First death. First episode. I picked one up at random. Slid it into a player I didn't own. It started buffering. Of course it did. And when the footage played, it was me again. Sitting in front of a mirror. The reflection was smiling, but my real face wasn't. The reflection leaned forward. Its voice was mine, but older. Not aged, edited. "You shouldn't have skipped the intro." Then the screen exploded in static and screams. I tried to leave the apartment. But the hallway no longer existed. Just rows and rows of thumbnails. Each a scene from my life I don't remember filming. Some show me sleeping. Some show me watching. Some show me dead. My phone buzzed again. Only one notification. Would you like to start from the beginning? Below it. Yes, no. There was no way to tap either. The phone locked itself. The screen glowed red. And then it played the original Netflix startup sound, but it was reversed. It sounded like a laugh being swallowed. I found a door in the wall that hadn't been there before. It was painted black, with a single red N carved into the wood. It didn't have a handle, only a fingerprint scanner. When I pressed my hand to it, it opened on its own. And inside, shelves. Endless shelves. Each stacked with hard drives labeled with people's names. One had my face printed on it. Handwritten in sharp. SZN_417_epilogue. That's when I understood the title of this episode. Skip intro wasn't a command. It was a threat. Because if you skip the beginning, you don't realize the show is about you. Now, I don't sleep. I just loop. Every night I hear the theme song in my head. Every morning the screen displays resume, and no matter what I say, it always plays. Part 4, Original Programming. I haven't left the apartment in 9 days. Or maybe more. Time doesn't behave the same anymore, not since episode 3. My clocks run backward. The microwave reads 1997 every time I open it. The phone still rings, but only with notifications from a streaming service I never subscribed to. It doesn't say Netflix anymore. The name is just N, a red symbol, shaped like a thread pulled taut through flesh. Every time I see it, I feel it somewhere deep in my jaw, like something tugging behind my molars, like I've been hooked from the inside. Episode 4 started without my consent. No click, no play button, just an eyes-open autoplay. I was mid-blink when it began, screen glowing red, humming low, the static louder than before. The voice was no longer trying to be calm. It was present, all around me, inside my ears. Now streaming, original programming. User, SZN_417. Category, horror/documentary/inheritance. The episode didn't open with a title card. It opened with me. But not from now. From birth. Black and white footage of a hospital delivery room, shot from above. Cameras already mounted. Nurses moving like clockwork, faces blanked by static. My mother on the table, eyes rolled back, mouthing something over and over. He'll stream true. He'll stream clean. And then I was born. Into the program. Cut to a child's bedroom. Early 2000s. Everything perfectly curated, right down to the cereal boxes in the corner. Those old. Collect them all. Decoder rings, prizes for watchers too young to know what they were decoding. I'm sitting on the floor, cross-legged in front of a television that isn't plugged in. On the screen static. In the static faces. Every time the camera pans, the static flickers, and you see another viewer. All of them watching me. From behind glass. I tried to turn the TV off. But it wasn't my TV anymore. It was part of me. I saw veins in the cords. Heard a heartbeat behind the panel. The screen pulsed like lungs, breathing with me. And then the Red North logo blinked into place. But now I saw it for what it truly was. Not a letter. an eye. A lidless, vertical eye that sees everything. Not just what you click on. Not just your watch history. It sees what watches you back. The footage shifted again. More cameras. All hidden. Inside bathrooms. Desktops. The light bulbs in old hotel rooms. Each screen labeled with a string of numbers and the word seed. Mine, 417. Others, 193 022 908B. Each viewer unknowingly part of an experiment. Each one given different shows. Different suggestions. All tailored to feed the one thing they needed to believe. That they had free choice. But we weren't choosing. We were auditioning. For something else. I opened the fridge. No food. Just stacked old USB drives and labeled VHS tapes. Every one of them marked with a scene from my life. But one had no label. Only a red sticker. Pilot. I played it. It showed me walking into my apartment for the first time, months ago, before any of this. But the apartment wasn't empty. Someone was already sitting on the couch. Wearing the same clothes. Same face. Watching the same screen. Watching me enter. The me on the screen slowly turned toward the camera. And said, "You're not the first viewer. Just the first who got this far." The lights flickered. My walls began to fade. The wallpaper peeled like dead skin, revealing screens underneath, rows and rows of glowing glass. Each showed me different versions. Screaming. Sleeping. One crying blood into a bowl-marked season finale. The narrator returned. Different tone now. Almost pitying. "You've done well. Few users reach episode 4. Most skip. Most quit. You stream through. You're ready for original programming." The floor beneath me went soft. The carpet peeled open like a curtain. And beneath it? Cables. Living wires. Coiled in knots that pulsed with light. And below the cables? Rows of servers. Stacked with names. Each hum of data matched with a heartbeat. Each heartbeat matched with a user. Each user matched with a show they didn't know they were writing with their life. The final scene of episode 4 showed the familiar Netflix interface. Except all the thumbnails were the same face. Mine. Each with a different title. He watched first. Viewer disconnected. Recommended for you, your ending. I tried to back out. The screen turned red. A message appeared. Skipping is no longer an option. Then the credits rolled. Except they weren't names. They were IP addresses. Coordinates. Viewers still active. One of them matched mine. And it didn't end with Eli. It ended with asset_infex 417_final. Now, I don't sleep. When I close my eyes, I buffer. And something is writing the final episode from inside me. Every choice I make adds a new scene. Every thought I have cues another file. And I know, when I hit play next time, I won't be watching the show. I'll be in it. Part 5, Viewer Disconnected. The final episode didn't start with a loading screen. There was no buffering. No play button. No dumb intro sound. It simply began, immediate and absolute. like a dream that wraps around you with no beginning and no air to breathe. There was a red flicker in the corner of my vision, and suddenly I was standing in a hallway made of screens. Each screen showed me, not just present me, past me, possible me, aged me, broken me, laughing me, hollowed out me, each one in motion, each looped in silence. The only sound was my own heartbeat, fed through a filter of static and slowed to the pace of something dead. On the far wall, a single door, painted red, labeled in flickering white, NFX_417_final. My asset tag, my name, my exit. I walked toward it. The hallway didn't stretch, it glitched. Frames skipping. I saw myself in third person for a moment, stuttering forward in broken animation. My legs blurred. My jaw clicked open and closed in half frames. The door opened before I touched it. Inside was the control room. Not figuratively. Not a metaphor. The control room. Bank after bank of monitors. Endless. Each one tuned to a different viewer. Some unaware. Some screaming. One man had gouged out his eyes with a Roku remote. Another girl rocked in the corner of her bedroom while her mirror displayed her own death on loop. And in the center of the room, the editor. He wasn't human. He wasn't anything. Just a shape, made of remotes, wires, and flickering thumbnails that glitched across his skin like scales. His face was a black TV screen. On it, my face stared back. I tried to speak. I couldn't. He raised a finger, an antenna, maybe, and the screen changed. Now it showed a list. EP1 play. EP2 buffering. EP3 skip intro. EP4 original programming. EP5 viewer disconnected white heavy check mark. He looked at me. No eyes. Just that pulsing glow. And then the walls folded in. Not crushed. Compressed. Condensed into a single screen, wrapped around my body. The editor spoke, not aloud, but through every speaker I'd ever used in my life. You've been watched, Eli. But now you are the watcher. We stream you now. To everyone. That's when I heard them. The viewers. Not here. Out there. Watching from their couches. From their beds. Phones. Laptops. Tablets. They were watching me. And I saw them. Flickering one by one on the wall of screens. Eyes glazed. Mouth slightly open. Slack-jawed, captivated. Trapped. Like I'd been. Then came the final question. The one I always skipped. Now unavoidable. Typed in blood-red font across every screen. Would you like to continue? Yes. No. The buttons flickered. I reached out. Paused. The editor leaned closer. The screen on his face zoomed in. Closer. Closer. Until my reflection was all there was. And the choice faded. No longer mine. Now, there are no episodes. No titles. Just an endless stream of footage. And I am the source. I hear the audio bleed through your speakers at night. When the room goes quiet. When the Netflix menu hangs just a second too long. When a show starts playing that you never clicked on. That's me. That's my feed. And every time you ignore it, it learns more about you. What makes you blink? What keeps you watching? What scares you enough to stay? Because you're part of the next season. Your asset _418. The Lost season only gets found when someone like you wanders too far past the autoplay screen. It's already loaded. Already buffering. All it needs is your eyes. So tell me. Continue watching? Yes. 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 There is no no anymore. And remember, if your screen ever flickers at 2:16 a.m. and shows you a show you didn't choose, don't blink. Because it's already watching you back.